Well, it's time now for us to introduce you to a special group of girls. My good friend Mark Dreyer got the chance to hang out with the foxy ladies of Chinese cheerleading who are trying to make an impact on the world cheerleading stage. Now that's what I call a tough assignment.
16 cheerleading teams from across China wowed the crowds at the Olympics. Top of the bunch was the Dianfeng team, the only squad of the 16 whose routines weren't given a drastic overhaul before being sent out onto the world stage. A lot of the credit for that has to go to Bobo, the coach and the captain of the Dianfeng cheerleading team.
Hi, Bobo.
And she's kindly agreed to show me what a typical day is like for one of the best in the business.
Okay, let's go, Ma.
Being traditionally more conservative than the West, China isn't exactly the first place you'd look for teams of girls strutting their stuff in public. But 2 years ago, Bobo came to Beijing from South Korea to form the Dianfeng team. And though the Olympics gave the girls a bigger stage on which to shine, their monthly salary of just $430 means they can't afford to rest on their laurels just yet.
Well, at the moment, we're only cheerleaders for basketball games, but I hope we can cheer for other sports like volleyball and table tennis.
And to realise that dream, she rehearses 3 times a week with a team of 8 full-time and 10 part-time girls. If a new girl wants to join the team, what do they need to do?
First of all, we look at her figure. She should be 170 centimeters tall and quite pretty. Secondly, we check out her dancing technique, including basic gymnastic movements like stretching. Thirdly, and most importantly, is her passion. Our cheerleading team must have great spirit.
That's the case all over the world, but especially in the US, where cheerleading began and first paired up with pro sports back in the 60s. Over there, some kids are cheerleading almost before they can walk. But since cheerleading in China is barely 10 years old, Chinese views on the sport are also still being formed. What do people in China think about cheerleaders? What do your parents think?
My father hasn't come out and said he supports me, but from the attention he pays me, I think he sees this as a positive thing.
Every time I appear on TV, my parents are there to watch TV and see my performances.
So the girls are slowly gaining acceptance, but I wanted to know what it was like in China before cheerleaders existed. Wang Yuesheng was a typical fan from the 1950s. Back then it was left to people like Wang to lift the crowd. All of them were male, not nearly as attractive as today's version. So how did old school cheerleaders, how did it work?
In the 50s, Chinese people liked soccer a lot, but back then there weren't that many matches, and people were very conservative, so there were only cheers, sighs, and applause from the crowd. But in the 1990s, it came up to the international standard. Fans had their own uniforms, flags, and organizations, and beautiful cheerleaders also appeared on court.
One of Bobo's best prospects is Xu Yue, and like many of her teammates, she's not looking to emulate the crowd-leading males from years gone by, but the crowd-pleasing professional dancers in the NBA.
I really hope to go to the NBA to be a cheerleader. This is every cheerleader's dream.
She has a good figure, looks pretty, and has a very good attitude, but has good interaction with the crowd. I believe she could become a good NBA cheerleader.
After 5 hours of training with barely time for a break, it's time to head to Shougang Stadium in the west of town, where Bobo and the girls are the regular cheerleaders for the Beijing Ducks. The girls are just going through their last warm-ups behind me, just trying to stay loose and relaxed in case they need a last-minute replacement. After all the warm-ups, it's time to get into costume. And they'll be in and out of this room 3 or 4 times during the course of the game to change into a variety of outfits. With the Ducks likely to miss the playoffs, a lot of the fans here tonight are going to be far more interested in the cheerleaders, and the girls are about to show you why. Do you think their dance dances are kind of Western style dances, or they have like Chinese characteristics?
Sometimes I feel like I'm watching dance moves from the 1980s, but I love it.
I thought he was just a touch harsh, but he was from Florida, so he should know. Anyway, Chinese fans certainly weren't complaining.
I think they are just so great. They are energetic, they are beautiful, they are young, they bring passion to the game. That's why I come to the game, man.
The Dianfeng team certainly aren't lacking for admirers. Whether it's posing for photos, signing autographs or performing for the crowd, these fans were watching the girls almost as much as the game itself. Cheerleading might be in its infancy in China, but the fans have welcomed these beautiful girls with open arms.
Today we've specially designed a choreography for the last game of the season to let every member show off their flair. Our dancers are from different places in China and have different styles. Some do folk dancing, others do hip-hop. Everyone shows off their speciality.
Bobo would be the first to admit her girls aren't up to NBA standard, though they're the best you'll find in China for now. The way things have progressed over the last couple of years, feels like she may be fulfilling dreams sooner rather than later. And anyway, letting me spend the day with them, I definitely one of mine.